Hello, so this will be episode 26 of a series, An Ancient Legacy, and this will be part 26 and sub-episode 5, and looking at connections and how, for instance, Beauvais Cathedral connects to all these things through the medieval royal foot. So already, look, we spoke about the pendulum and how the various these. So we have exactly 1 meter, creating what is generally recognized as the Egyptian royal cubit. 1 meter being a measurement of length, but also importantly a measurement of time, as in 86,400 seconds per day. Now we have the medieval royal foot, so and therefore three of those. One medieval royal yard is 1/3 of a millimeter from that. Now that difference might be small, but it's actually very important. And then we also have the Sumerian or the Indus foot, so 1 yard or 1 Saxon yard, because this unit was used up until the 1600s in Europe. And we see exact same unit, ancient legacy, and this creates ever so slightly longer pendulum. Now all of these are equal to 1 second exactly at a certain point on the Earth as you move north or south of the equator. Quick recap. So the exactly 1 meter would create the Egyptian royal cubit, which is commonly used to define the not just the Great Pyramid, but the Khafre's Pyramid, Bent Pyramid, Red Pyramid, so many others. However, with a focus on the Red Pyramid, this Indus scale will actually describe the size of a Great Pyramid, including the sockets. And again, coincidence. And the again, this northeast corner, the medieval royal foot at 808, the Egyptian royal cubit created by this pendulum, creates exactly the scale of the pyramid, not including the sockets, just the pure pyramid itself. And the medieval royal foot is embedded in the pyramid several other ways. And of course, this northeast corner, if you include the sockets and the socle or the paving stones, scales the Great Pyramid to the size of the Earth at 86,400 to 1, as in 86,400 seconds per day. And so, and this is based on a three-dimensional observation of a three-dimensional object to describe a three-dimensional object, unlike the 43,200 method, which requires some gymnastics to get us there. And of course, it does not incorporate the rest of this very important information, which unites not just the pyramid with Egypt, but countless other sites throughout the world, which I've covered throughout this series and in earlier episodes. But staying on the medieval royal foot, so Beauvais Cathedral, the height of the vault. Now the whole building itself resonates with this, but the height of the vault, 144 medieval royal foot, 27.3 ionic fathom, 109.33 ionic cubits. And again, we have this lovely number, just to shift a decimal point, describing the relationship between the foot we understand now and how it goes. But of course, this is a very ancient unit of measurement, as incorporated in countless structures, ancient structures across the world, much older than the Parthenon, and of course also connections to what's generally referred to as the esoteric. And we would best recognize that today as Freemasonry, but not exclusive to Freemasonry. It's part of this ancient craft, which is connected to stoneworking, carpentry, alchemy, the ancient trades, the ancient sciences, which are directly connected to Hermeticism or the wisdom of Thoth. Okay, so why Astana? I'm showing here pictures of Astana, the capital city of Kazakhstan. Astana is the newest of the New Jerusalems, just like Washington, which is famous. Even hardcore skeptics find it very hard to deny these aspects are built into the city. But Astana, Brasilia, Canberra, and Washington are all part of their cities designed and built from the ground up to incorporate these very special esoteric symbolism, but also which is literally described in, let's call it like exoteric systems of measurement. But so each of, well, I've done in some other videos in regards, like you can just compare them, the same units of measurement, the same design, the same geometry, and of course the same connections. So what's so important? So for instance, the Kazakh Eli Monument, medieval royal at 273. Now, I would say it's 273.333, but I've just shown it there because it's described as 91 meters. Sorry, yes, which is, and okay, but, so that's on the medieval Royal scale. Now, on the Beta Rec Tower, which is literally called the Sun Dome, which is 72 feet, another one of these examples. I did a longer video going through each of these major structures throughout the city, other elements. They're just embedded with this particular, the ancient legacy. And so the Presidential Palace, the Pyramid of Peace and Reconciliation, Boaz and Yukim, you could call them there as well, and of course Beta Rec Tower, which this is the Washington Monument of Astana. This essentially it's a connecting to the sun. It's an obelisk for all intents and purposes. Not literally an obelisk, but it occupies the same space and the same meaning as what does Washington and Astana. But of course, through this Cremona scale, which I've in this series and earlier videos gone into some detail about the importance of it. It's virtually been lost from history, but at 273 incorporated in there. And also the Khan Shatir Entertainment Centre by Norman Foster. Norman Foster also designed the Beta Rec Tower. He designed the city plan itself. Anything connected with Norman Foster is connected with the esoteric. I've done some videos on him and his structures, including the Apple campus in California. Now, they all incorporate, again, now Medieval Royal 273. I would even again suggest that it's 27.333, but again, the exact, to the millimeter measurement, I'm not able to obtain. But whether it's 27.2727, which is pretty much the proportions built into the Great Pyramid, which 27.3 is as well. But this is a very important number. Now, again, throughout this series, I've gone into ancient sites, and you just find it everywhere at 82 feet. And this scale, again, I've incorporated it before, but even on Doric. So Doric feet, just like the Ionic column, just like the Corinthian column, core symbolism still to this day in Freemasons. The Great Pyramid, 27.33 Doric rods. Now the Iron Pillar of Delhi, this enigmatic structure as well. If you include the buried portion, so the whole structure, not just the one above ground, 27.33 feet. You just find it in, it's difficult to find where it doesn't exist in ancient sites, but we'll also see it in very important modern architecture connected to the same architects who are neck deep in this. And okay, Taj Mahal, 108 feet high arch, the walls on the inside of the tomb itself, 27.82 feet, one of these ancient structures. The largest Buddhist stupa in Europe, 108 feet, 27.3 yards, 82 feet. These are the exact same measurements, proportions that are just across the ancient world. Throughout this series, gone into a lot of detail in the back. These are three fused obelisks. This is here in Canberra in Australia. This is our Washington. And this is a Carillion, so there's a bell tower in there, but if you see it from the top view, it's even described as three fused obelisks, 164 feet, 27.33 fathoms, 109.33. Same numbers as in Beauvais, even 1440 inches or 108, the bell housing. Every aspect of these buildings, the city itself are all defined. The same repeated numbers over and over again. To call it coincidence is to put your head in the sand. This is part of a matrix, let's call it, and again, crosses time, crosses cultures, crosses the world, can be measured. You can deny it, good on you, but I can measure it, and we just see it repeated constantly. These are just some examples. Now, major monuments, memorials. Well, Jefferson Memorial in Washington D.C. again, 1080, 27.3. The Korean War Memorial here in D.C. Now, just point me at a memorial in DC and I'll show you where we get these same systems. It's embedded even I've covered the White House, the Supreme Court building, George Washington National Masonic Memorial, everywhere. It's essential, and it would not happen in a random chaotic world. Occasionally they would not get it, but they always incorporate this. It's in the temples, it's in the cathedrals, it's in the major public buildings, it's in the scale proportions of the parkland itself, in the street design. It just is. Eiffel Tower is another example. 10,800 medieval royal inches being the height before they added the tower. Again, all of it's all here. Even again, like 108, the first level, 377 feet. Went into that in early. For instance, the Washington Memorial in Washington is 377 feet off center. This is again a repeated theme. 377 is a Fibonacci number. There's your clue. But also the base at 410 feet, 273.33 cubits. This is the Arc de Triomphe, 164 feet, repeated measurement, same systems, and again 1080, 288, 72 feet. Would not happen unless it's part of a tradition. It's just will not happen. Just yeah. But it's also part of this ancient legacy which connects these ancient cultures. I already mentioned Indus and Sumerian foot, how it describes the Great Pyramid itself in Egypt. This is the scale here. And what else do we have? We have multiple like length, but also weights, because, well, the pendulum being a key example. So the 30-degree pendulum, that's 108,000 seconds of the compass, 86,400 seconds per day, pi over 6. It's just repeated, but also through measurement, but also through weight. So the ancient Indus scale, Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, 13.66 or 27.33 grams being their standard weight. And we also see that appear in Egypt as well, the old copper deben. Because copper and gold was priceless, and that's why you don't find copper relics, because the workers who had their chisels would be weighed before they went to work and weighed after work. That's why you don't find it here. It's just yeah, it's almost sad as much as it is funny in regards to some of this so-called. Anyway, Greece we also have the same. So a Greek ounce, half ounce, 13.66. Greek ounce, 27.3. Same systems of like we also find that in Rome. Carrying through, and for instance the Islamic ounce, that's carried through to the Spanish doubloons, pieces of 8, which is so that if you cut the coin into 8 pieces, so they knew how much the coin weighed, it would be cut into 8 cob or real, and that real would be 2 bits, and that's where the expression 2 bits comes from, and the American silver dollar, 27.3 grams. Now, you might explain it away, well, it's just like an ongoing tradition, it wasn't really intentional, but ancient coins more unusually had a high frequency of being 27.3 millimeters wide. And here's an example. So this is a relatively, well, the dessous or the sus, I'm not sure of the exact pronunciation, but 27.3 grams or 8 cob. Here's the 50p piece from the UK, 27.3 millimeter or 8 grams. This key currency is part of this ancient Hermetic tradition. 27.3 is embedded in our ancient past, carries through to this day, and it's of huge importance, especially in regards to sun, earth, moon and stars, these core features in tracing boards. Just that's right there. Thoth, god of weights and measures. Hermes was the same thing, god of trade, god of knowledge, god of sciences. That's why the doctors still have this symbol of the twin embedded snakes. It's not DNA or electromagnetism, it's a measuring rod. Gods of knowledge, gods of weights and science, trade, and, well, medicine. Now that brings us back to the medieval royal foot, because that in itself is 27.33 ionic fathom. How do we convert this? Well, look, yeah, there you go. The medieval royal foot is 2.7333 yards across there, or 20, and the Egyptian royal cubit and the meter and the pendulum. This is another time. Now, okay, get your calculator out. 0.5236 divided by 2. It gives you phi squared, or phi plus 1. 2.73 and phi time the meter. These ancient units are all connected. They're part of this ancient science which has been passed on. It is known by the people who design coins, cathedrals, major public buildings, and now you know. Now, there's a lot more to this, a lot more. It's coming up to the 15-minute limit. Anyway, still more to come. Have a good one.